Hello and welcome to yet another cast, and I forgot to change scenes. One moment. While OBS deals with the black screen. There it is. Right, today for you I have a game on Seton's Clutch, the one and only. A custom 44. Quite high rated. And we have Team 1 up here at the top, Team 2 down here at the bottom. Let's get started with the air player for Team 1. We have in dark blue going Aeon, opening first land, Robo Gear. Then on the beach slot we have Caesar, probably gonna call them just Saw, maybe something else. Going for hot pink, SUAF, opening first land. On the land slot we have Lankum, going Seraphim, in grey, opening first land. And actually building 2 maxes before walking mid. Not sure if that's the actual meta. Anyway, and on the rock slot for the northern team we have VIP, opening first land, second air, going Aeon, that's the name of the faction, yes, took me a moment, in burgundy red. Now for team 2 in the south. For the air player we have Folly, in yellow, going Cyprian, opening first land. On the beach we have in red, going Seraphim, opening first land, Kotick. On the land we have in blue, Gorinich, going UEF, opening first land. Having built a bit more stuff. I don't know, I thought the meta was building just a factory with the ACU and afterwards a walking mid, but I'm not nearly as high rated as these players, so they do know what they are doing. Who am I to criticize that? Anyway, and on the rock player we have Delhi, opening first land on the rock slot, opening first land, going Aeon in the darker green, and second air, of course, for the island drop right here. Right. Now about the map, it's Seton's a 20k map. Most players will probably have seen it before. We have a whole bunch of reclaim right here. The traditional play is that the land players let most of their main base being built by engineers and walk their ACUs up to the middle quite early to just get all of this juicy reclaim and get as much of that as possible. At the same time, the 2 beach players will right here will walk up after building their initial base as well to support the mid players and also to get a bunch of this reclaim. The northern beach player has a slight advantage on this because they are closer, they can actually get the Salem racks more easily. They don't need to walk as far. It's a slight imbalance on the map, to be honest, but games on Seton's still tend to go either way, so it's not that big of a deal. Now, for the rock player, the classic play is to go for an early transport, as we can see here, and drop the side island with 5 maxes. Same going on here, out for VIP. And the air player usually delays their air production quite a bit to go straight for T3 air, skipping T1 and T2, leaving that to their teammates. With the meta on Seton's allowing for a T3 air to be achieved within around 9 minutes. Now traditionally, some developments that we could expect to see is rock players on the 2 sides winning against the beach players, as rock still gets access to these, as the name suggests, some borders on this rock side, though they have already been reclaimed. Those do allow for some quicker max upgrades, as well as the fact that they get these 5 additional maxes right here on the side island, which gives them a total eco advantage, and usually that allows them to produce more navy than the beach player. Now a lab drop out from VIP has taken out the engineer of Kotick that was expanding up here to grab these 3 maxes, delaying their progress. Very annoying to see for them. but it happens. Just kinda happens. Now in the middle we have quite a bit of stuff going on. The ACU of Lincoln has been focused on quite badly, already down in the yellow. But the spam of Lincoln is now arriving and targeting down Kovic. Not Kovic, Kotick. Sorry if I butcher the names. I will always butcher names because I can't read properly, I guess. Kotick already down to below 6k. Lincoln down below 5k. But I don't think we will see any ejections here, as the ACUs are already on their way to basically disengage. Kotick basically losing this engagement already now, since they are being targeted down by 2 ACUs, only having one to properly support this, up against the ACU of Tsar. Down in the red, below at 2.4k HP, they are dropping quite fast. But I believe they will be able to make it into the water. They are still above 1k HP and they already arrived at the water. They just need to walk a little bit further and they can no longer be hit. Oh, little misplay, they forgot to keep walking. Below 300, 100, just about, below 200, and they just about survived. Tsar walking just a bit too far and submerging their cannons, not allowing them to keep firing. Naval Factory is out for Kotick. Currently none out for VIP. Oh, never mind. One at the side island right here. I missed that. And there are some naval factories out for Delhi, up here in the north, with none currently out for Tsar, though there is currently one kingdom. Now, about game balance and ratings maybe, we are looking at 93% game balance and ratings quite up high, with the lowest rated player being Kotick, I believe, at 1700. Well, okay, Tsar's also 1700, but with that, yes. The ratings are actually quite high. Highest rated player is Foley at 2300. And here we see the air protection now coming out for Foley, getting that T2, quite a few T2 energies, at T2 Pigeon, no T1 air produced. Well, okay, one scout, but scouts are basically free, so fair enough. And in the meantime, we have Robogear deciding to also, in addition to the Pigeons, get one top bomber, I believe that is. Yes. Before going T3, only on one T2 Pigeon. Unusual, as that usually leads to power stalling. But right, there's actually a view for energy stored on this, so can't really tell. But yeah, I believe they may have power stalled and now decided to go for the Pigeon instead. Fair enough. Robogear pointing out Nothas. There are Nothas apparently, not sure where. Or Notras? I think they meant Nothas. Can't see any though. Never mind, there are Nothas right here. And those are... yeah, I think they may be used to harass up here. Not sure if this factory was control Kate or just died naturally. VIP now going for T2, just getting that upgrade on the ACU and getting T2, the T2 Pigeons built with that. And currently at 3 Navy yards, facing off against 1 out from Kotick. In the long term that will be sufficient to cause a naval lock, but right now there's only a singular beacon that is posing a threat, and that is somewhat easily dealt with. The single top bomber out from Robogear also not spreading any real danger. Now we're looking at 9 minutes and T3 air has been achieved by Robogear. T3 energies are now coming out. Same goes for Foley. They are slightly behind on the schedule with their T3 energy, but not far enough that it would be of any major concern. As long as Robogear plays it safe, there won't be any threat out to deal with, and even if I believe that the economy of volley may be sufficient to just get a ASF out in emergency anyways. I have some experience as a Seton's air player, so I somewhat know that in this position you can push out an ASF rather fast. Now, looking at economies, we are at 293 for Team 1 against 323 for Team 2, so Team 2 is slightly ahead. That adds up with the fact that T2 currently has more map control in the middle, and is also getting quite a bit of reclaim right here. Even some of the there is even still some reclaim left from the start of the match. But if that has, and I also believe that they may have gotten more reclaim early on. No, actually Team 1 got more reclaim. Never mind. I was wrong on that. But even so, they are further ahead on the map control here, though I'm pretty sure there's no actual difference on the maxes right now. So whatever. Whatever, I guess. But yeah, 2 players on Team 2 above 100 eco, both Folly and Delhi. Both at around 130. While VIP for the northern team just managed to get above 100. So we're looking at some major difference. Though Smeg Ranach is behind on eco compared to Lankan with around... Okay, it's only a 10 mass difference, so yeah. Ecos are still in favor of Team 2, but looking at total mass income, they are now starting to balance out. The difference is shrinking. T3 are now being produced by both sides. Currently, I cannot see any T2 Navy being produced on the southern pond. Though, as far as I'm aware, pros tend to skip T2 Navy and instead go straight for T3 Navy, but I also don't see any T2 Navy out in northern ponds, so that is still waiting on it myself. Lankan does have T2 land. We also do have T2 land for Smeg Ranach. And there is T3 currently going up on the ACU of Delhi to build a T3 Pigeon, but they are currently still sitting at T2 maxes. Though they, even with T2 maxes, they are above 150 eco, since they just get a whole bunch of maxes as the rock player, I guess. I also, yes, basically, full T2 also out for Kotick. They are currently still busy capping that. And some maxes still at T1 for Smeg Ranach. The side island for Delhi already at full T2 and capped. Currently that stuff's still going on for VIP. Upgrades here just finished. And also main island not completely upgraded and capped. Well, okay, completely upgraded but not completely capped for VIP. They are, however, also currently getting the T3 AC upgrade, but we're slightly behind on the T3 Pigeon. Right, that just finished, and right after Delhi finished that Pigeon. And there we see the T3 maxes now going up for Delhi. They are reclaiming these Pigeons to get some additional mass to get it more easily. A strategy you will see quite often on this map, since everything has been hyper-optimized basically. Let's take a look at aircrafts. We are currently looking at 2 air factories out for volley against currently only 1 for Robogear, I believe. Yes. Yes, there are no further T3 air factories out. T3 air is queued up for SAW, but that would be... yes, that's everything on the air game for the Northern team. How's air looking on right here? Kotick currently still just T2. No ambition of going T3 right now, and Delhi just rebuilt their T1 air factory. It may upgrade, but not right now. Now, something else you see quite often on Setons is the land player once land gets stabilized. As we can see right here, there is a firebase up here and some defenses up here as well for both players, making pushing just too expensive. With that, the land players usually decide to go into the pawn that's losing for their team and spend their eco on supporting that, somewhat balancing out the eco advantage that the player winning the pawn usually has by virtue of getting access to the side island. Again, that would usually be the rock player, as they are closer to the side island and drop it early, getting an early eco lead, and thus getting the naval advantage, but technically the beach player, if they contest navy enough, can also get access to that. Or they can even steal it. But T2 Navy has been built up by Lankan now, and I believe that is a... Right, going by that, I think that is a cruiser going out first with 2 destroyers following. And there is currently still no other T2 Navy in the works for anyone else. So that is still all we can expect from that. Some slight naval combat now going on right here. Some beacons fighting some of these thunderheads and some of these submarines as well. But again, just some slight skirmishing with the T1 Navy. Another thing typically seen on Setons that we can witness right here, the radar of the front player in the middle being gifted over to the air player, so that they can start upgrading it. Some MMLs now out for Lankan starting to try and deal with the firebase that has been built up by Smite Greenwich. But they were fast enough on building a busker and are now able to defend against the missiles. At least some, though we are looking at 4 of the mobile missile launchers, so some of them may actually land. Well, not right now. But more PD and more TMD being thrown up to help defend against that. Let's take a look at ASF count. We are looking at 32 for Foley against 24 for Robogear, so Foley currently at a slight ASF advantage. That does make sense since they did have some more factories out since their factories were out a bit more early. Currently 3 factories out for Robogear against... never mind, 4, they started their air grid right here in the middle. Another thing very typical for sets is that the air player puts a secondary air grid down here in the middle area, as it is a lot more flat than this mountainous area right here in the back at the mountain. And that allows the construction of a bigger air grid. We see the same right here from Foley now. Foley just finished RAS on that ACU, and let's take another look at economies. We are now looking at 1.1k for Team 2 against 913, so around 200 mass difference. With Delhi sitting at a whopping 487. I believe they may be at... yeah, they are actually at full T3. So not too big of a surprise there. Still, that is a ludicrous amount of economy at this stage. And Foley now also getting close to that. No one in the northern team actually being above 300. With Robogear having the highest eco at 288. Now, Saar and Lankan are actually behind Delhi currently with their economy. Well, let's see. Right. T2 has now been built up, has now been upgraded by Delhi, and they are also upgrading quite a few additional factories now to get more T2 naval production. And T3 Navy has also already been queued up on this HQ. And Star is also now looking sitting at T2 Navy. This is the T2, yes. Was confused for a moment by the icons, but the icons for Seraphim, for the Seraphim battleship and the Seraphim cruiser and destroyer can be very similar at times, so I was just that. Now the presence from Lankan's navy right here has forced Smail to pull back on the land. Now the destroyers, due to being Seraphim destroyers and having these beams, are limited in what they can do with some land right here. But the missile cruisers of the Seraphim having a pretty decent range and decent fire rate, though some baskets are obviously able to counter those as it is the tactical missiles. In the meantime, Smail getting some navy up in the northern pond. Delhi pointing out in chat that they are okay and they don't need any support, and that they should rather help in the southern pond. A reasonable call to make, as the southern pond is not looking very healthy for the southern team. And Kotick seems to be losing that right now. Though they are now at T2 Navy. And I believe there is still only... Oh, never mind, there is also T2 Navy out for VIP now. Never mind. And yes, this navy definitely needs support, and Smail also now starting to build some naval factories right here to help that. Building some Valiants to help get some sort of naval supremacy up here in the northern port, where the exodus of Delhi are now fighting quite a few destroyers out from Lankan, as well as the cruiser fire, which will be annoying to deal with as there's currently no unit with TMD. No cruiser or battleship. Though saying that, a battleship is 70% done for Delhi. That will most likely finish, though I don't think it will have enough TMD, but still, it will be a battleship, and battleships are always a pain to deal with T2 Navy as they do outrange it quite significantly. And the Aeon battleship also has a pretty high amount of DPS, being more of a brawler than a long-range sniper, unlike the other battleships. The most extreme example of that being, of course, the UEF with the Summit. Well, the Summit does have quite a bit of HP, it has the highest range of all of them, and if I remember correctly, actually the lowest DPS, with the longest reload. And the battleship up here that is also being built right now is about to finish at 85%, but the battleship that has been thrown up by Delhi down here from the HQ has finished. It is being harassed by these Tiger Sharks, though these 48,000 HP will take some time to chew through those with these T1 subs. And the naval push up here is now, with that, being pushed back, with the destroyers being taken out by the battleship. Again, the battleship using its very high range and rather high DPS, with the quick reload on the Aeon battleship, to take this out. In the meantime, we have a massive naval T1 naval production now going out for VIP with this massive line of factories just going out. Most of them are actually engineers, it seems like. I guess to get as much of the naval reclaim right here as possible. But Navy right now is still somewhat contested by Kotick. Kotick seems to be regaining ground, and T3 Navy has actually been achieved down here by Smail. And I believe this is a Neptune battlecruiser going out. The battlecruiser being very effective against T2 Navy, less so against T3 Navy as battleships outrange it. but has some amazing DPS and a beam weapon, allowing it to easily deal with T1 and T2 Navy. It's basically sort of a super Seraphim destroyer, or super destroyer, being very effective at dealing with smaller units. Not so effective in dealing with the bigger units though. But due to the situation in the Navy right here, Foley has decided to also get into the Navy, get up a Navy factory. Let's see what we will get out of that. And T3 Navy, I'm not sure if I actually pointed out, but I definitely looked at it. T3 Navy up here has been achieved by VIP, and the battleship is about to finish, just finished. Foley is still going for the bigger secondary accurate, and now also starting to build quite a few mass fabs to further increase their economy. They are currently looking at 485, Delhi currently at 555, and Team 2 is still ahead, though the gap is tightening, with only being 100 mass, and Team 1 just caught up actually. Saying that VIP managed to get out a comparable eco to Delhi, though Delhi started double capping and is getting Race Boys out, so I don't think that will last. Yes. Now VIP is also double capping, but there's a difference going on here. VIP going for the double cap with just 4 of these T2 maxes, while Delhi is going for the full 8. A slight difference, but it can be rather annoying, though we have some T1 bombers now out from Lankan harassing this position. That would be easily dealt with just singular ASF or a singular flag. But since everything right here is just impacting on the shields, it's not too important right now and it's just being ignored. Also, fair enough. Now, if they target down the mass fabs, they could probably do some heavy damage. Have to point that out. Meantime, Navy is continuing to look very bad for Kotick, though 2 battlecruisers are now in here for Greenwich. They and the beams have taken out a bit of this, I think. 2 kills right here, not a lot of mass killed. So I guess those were basically kill steals, but come on, the SF were just in the way. 3000 mass killed on this battlecruiser, so yes, it's definitely doing its job. But the battleship just arrived, so the time of the battlecruisers is over, unless they decide to rush in with them. Those won't be as effective. And the Axis battlecruisers right here out from VIP now deciding to bombard the side position, taking out these maxes. I believe that old max here may go down, yes. Kotick building up some TMD, probably forgetting the fact that they are facing air navy, and thus the bombardment isn't actually happening with missile cruisers, but with destroyers. The battleship, there is now actually also a battleship out for Kotick that is countering the battleship, the Omen out for VIP. So tech-wise, they are set up pretty similar now. And the battlecruisers, as I already pointed out, will be very effective in dealing with the smaller units. Though there also are quite a few Vespers now that are highly effective in dealing with submerged units. So submerging these destroyers, the special ability of the Seraphim destroyer being to be submerged, won't be that great of an idea, as the DPS of the Vesper would probably be quite a big problem right there. Now, in the meantime, in the Northern Navy we have quite a few summits out now, as well as some Seraphim battleships. So the northern pond is actually turning quite static, as with battleships the gameplay revolves around which side can get more firepower down onto the opposing navy. And pushes tend to be very slow, as battleships on first off are just very slow, and also both in reload and movement, but also the fact that they are very tanky and thus chewing through the HP of these battleships that are basically defining the Tier 3 stage of the naval game is gonna be quite annoying. It's gonna be quite a slugfest. Now, in the meantime, a firebase has been put up here in the middle by Lincoln. After the midline, actually. Though some mailers out from Volley are dealing with that now, but there were quite a few T2 arties right here that have been bombarding the Navy out from Delhi. Some additional DPS with that firing down on Delhi being even providing even more of an annoyance. But technically the battleships are, if I remember correctly, unless it has been changed, able to outrange the T2 arty. So if it would have gotten too bad, there would have still been the option to do that. Though that would have put DPS of the opposing navy. Now the summits are getting in too close, getting, for their own good, getting in range of the Omens. The Omen being the best battleship to counter, to fight other battleships if it actually is allowed to get in range, as it has the highest DPS. Also, if I remember correctly, the lowest HP pool, but yeah, slightly. Well, okay, not sure. It might actually be that the Galaxy battleship has a lower HP pool. Not too sure on that. Could be wrong. Can't remember. Has been a while. More mass fabs going up for Folly, just to get up more eco. The accurate's slightly basically finished. Do we have any game ender business? Well, a mass fab grid has also been started for Kotick. Fair enough, Seraphim does not get access to Razzakus. And there is technically the potential to build nukes for both teams, as Seraphim battleships are a replacement for nuke subs for them as well, providing the ability to build nukes. Though you don't see it that often, you need it's good to be aware of it, but and be prepared for it in a worst case scenario, but it's unlikely that it's actually going to become relevant. Taking another look at economies, Robot Gear actually, never mind, not actually the highest eco, but having surpassed Folly and at 600, only higher eco player being Delhi at over 800 now. God, Delhi just eco-horroring out of the wazoo, double capping even the maxes on the side island here. And getting quite a few Razzakus now also just spammed up. That will definitely provide a problem for Saar and Lankan and dealing with this navy, as in the long term with that Delhi will be able to throw up more units. But the bulwark, also bulwark shield bolts now being used up here for Saar as well, to just increase the HP pool of their navy, increasing its viability. There are some bulwarks out for Small Greenwich to support the navy, but I don't think that those will be too much of a factor here. Barracuda's being used by Folly to just counter the navy of the IP up here in the southern pond, while Greenwich has decided to switch over to the Summit battleships, as well as bulwarks to support naval survivability. Again, the Summit has the highest range, the only non-experimental naval unit with a range of 250. The only other naval unit to have a direct fire range like that is the Tempest for the Aeon, the experimental battleship, and a Atlantis has just been finished as well, having some long-range, very effective torpedoes. Game is turning a bit more static, as Seton games tend to be, but believe me, it's definitely worth it for what is to come. Mass T2 mass fab grids now coming up online for Kotick. Again, fair enough. As I already pointed out, they do not have access to the rare Sakus like everyone else. Though Foley also decided to not go for rare Sakus instead, just for mass upgrades and T3 entries. Fair enough, as that is also a way to get up more economy, and I believe it is actually more effective than, or more mass efficient than the rare Sakus. And I believe, yes, same is actually going on for Robogear as well. They do not have a Quantum Gateway as of now. However, what I just noticed is that they just have a Paragon. Which, funnily enough, I did the math at some point. Going by investment for mass produced would be the second most effective way to produce more mass, the most effective one being T1 Maxes. But, of course, insanely expensive and taking ages to build. So efficiency is not really that important with that, going by that price. Since it takes... we have an ETA right here, we are currently looking at around an hour of build time. With the amount of eco currently allocated to building this. Might only be one engineer actually, since all of this is on support moves, might only be due to one engineer having the actual build order. But even then, or is that going down when more engineers are supporting it? I don't think it is. Still. Never mind, that is actually going in game time, so that is actually an accurate reading. Never mind. Yeah. Again, very expensive, technically most efficient way to produce mass, but... or second most efficient way. Most efficient one would be T1 P-Gens, not T1 P-Gens, T1 Maxes. P-Gens would be a very weird way to produce mass, but... highly expensive. However, since there is currently nothing in terms of standoff or game ender technology going on, never mind. There is a Scathos going up for Foley, so that argument is gone. But yeah, the Paragon is only worth it if you don't have an opponent going for any game ender technology themselves, since while you are technically while you do get access to infinite mass income basically, or almost infinite 10k mass income, the problem is that when different other players spend that on actual game enders, they already have something firing on you. While you only have an economy unit that does not fire back. Though you can just spam observations with that, since you get insane economy with that. But again, that takes time and build power, so there's that. However, let's take a look back into the Navy. There are now aircraft carriers out for VIP to provide air cover and maybe even air protection. I believe currently it's only air cover. And the submarines currently out from Foley are being reclaimed right here by these T1 NGs. An ability that both Seraphim and Ion get, since their NGs are hover, unlike Cypern and UEF, which just get floating NGs that still touch the water, as can be seen here, and thus are can be hit by torpedoes. That's an actual thing, yes. Stuff like that is considered, even if the hitbox reaching the water is tiny. But the naval push in the south now, with the support of Foley and Garanich being successful and pushing VIP back. At the same time, Delhi using their insane eco, now 900 mass income, to continue to also push forward. Also getting some support from these whalers out from Foley, taking out some Neptunes. And these are actually paying for themselves. taking out this very, very dangerous Navy. There are some cruisers right here that will be thinning those out slowly, but probably not slowly enough, so there goes that. Let's take another look at the game ender progress. We're looking at 40% of the Scathers for Folly against 30% of a Paragon. Now, if the Paragon is allowed to finish and live, that will probably be very bad long term, but currently the Scathers is going up faster for Folly, also getting some build power assistance from Delhi with a bunch of engineers. Makes sense since Delhi has the highest economy in this game. Are they able to spend it? Not really, no. They are floating 10k mass. Disappointing. I can say that because Delhi appears in streams somewhat regularly, so I can make comments like that. I think. Never mind, they're actually starting to spend them now. Okay. Folly also spending mass, floating some for a bit, probably due to being gifted some mass. And Kotikno actually also supporting the building of that Scathers. With that is going up very fast, currently almost at 70%. Paragon's still at 38. So that Scathers will almost certainly finish before the Paragon. And that is very unfortunate for RoboGear. Where did that nuke come from? Right, I completely missed the fact. There is a nuke that has been built up by Delhi right here in the back. Slightly shielded, and the missile is going for stealth. Not sure where. Interesting to see here is that the maxes of SAR have been gifted over to RoboGear, putting them at 1.2k mass income, and allowing that Paragon to basically fly up, as they have a incredible economy of that now. Now SAR basically at no economy anymore, though not too relevant considering the fact that they are losing Navy very fast and are probably not able to win this. The nuke landing right here, taking out a whole bunch of battleships. Basically used as, well, not really PD, but still somewhat defensively, or, well, offensively PDD, I guess. The nuke launcher definitely haven't paid for the missile and itself at 50k mass kit, and Folly just finished an experimental. And yes, as I expected, that is the Scathers. And it is firing its first volley. The Bay Plate of Doom is starting to open up. A second Scathers already started. That will definitely saturate the map with damage, as Scathers fire tends to do, especially if you get multiple Scathar. Now the Scathers isn't that great at breaking through shields, as it brings the damage over the right area. However, as soon as the shield fails, or the shielding in a base fails, the base is gone. Because, again, the weakness of the Scathers that it has a very low accuracy and spreads its damage over a wide area, can also be a very good strength, since it basically allows immediate time destruction of everything at the same time if shields start collapsing. Now, something that I did not notice is that there is apparently an Awasa out from Kotik, and it did get quite a bit of damage done, 33,000 mass killed. And it's flying out again. The Southern Navy has now been lost for VIP. They are losing their main base quite badly. The side island is now starting to be, well, okay. VIP, already seeing the writing on the wall, has started reclaiming the side island, trying to get as much mass back from it as possible. Fair enough. And they are currently apparently not aware of the Paragon being built. Paragon at 90%. Lankin moving in right next to that due to all the shielding, hoping to be safe there. Also quite a bit of PD providing tele defense, and still upgrading a T3 upgrade. Well, Paragon was noticed, and now shells are starting to impact around it. There's currently no shield micro going on. Oh, well, never mind, there is a bit of shield micro going on, with some of these shield generators being assisted to repair. A strategy being that if you assist shields, you will spend a lot, basically the mass to rebuild the shield to, or that the shield would cost to rebuild, to regenerate the shield HP. Very interesting strategy, and definitely allows the quick regen of shields after being impacted by artillery. Especially helpful when dealing with a Naval, which can quickly take out shields. But that only works while the shield has not collapsed. And at this shield HP, this shield will definitely collapse. These have already collapsed. There's a salvation going on, going up here now, with quite a bit of willpower behind it. Though, with the Scathless shells already impacting like this, yes, that will not actually succeed. Those did go down. Now, Robogear gifting over their maxes after finishing the Paragon over to Caesar, or Saw. Also a pretty standard strategy if people go for Paragon, since with that they again have basically unlimited mass income. They are currently spending 3,000 mass. Insane. Oh, 4,000 for a moment. So they are definitely spending their mass. Something that I would love to see is maybe a second Paragon, as redundancy in case the first one the shielding around the first one fails and it goes down. As the Aeon shields don't seem to be completely sufficient to protect the Paragon right now. They are, well, okay, the shield assistance is somewhat keeping up with that, but maybe not quite sufficient, and the second Scathless has finished. I have completely missed that. And that's now double the firepower going down on that. And also getting close to the continuous stream of firepower that the Scathless provided in older patches. Even if at lower ranges, but still. Now, first salvation about to go up for Robogear. Second one also already halfway done. And another one going up here right now. Currently the shields around the Paragon are still holding, though they are taking quite a bit of damage. However, the next salvo of the Skyfire is waiting on itself. Right, they are timed to fire the salvos right after each other. So basically to already provide a very dense firepower. Well, okay, shields are currently still somewhat holding. This one has not fully regened, but I'm pretty sure that is also not being assisted. And some quite unlucky hits. 2 shields already failed. Shield layering is so the shield layering is starting to take its effect. Another shield just failed. Lankin now starting to build up a T3 shield generator. This shield failed. So the Paragon now down to 3 active shields. One is about to pop back on, but these 2 are already pretty low. But the Seraphim shields will probably be sufficient, and here we see a whole bunch of Telezakus that are coming out from Kotek. Seraphim Zakus having the ability to teleport, and actually having the tele on one of the arms, also allowing them to get a survivability upgrade. but teleporting right next to the Paragon, taking out and the Paragon explosion, also taking out Lankan in the process. Now, in the meantime, 2 salvations have been finished for Robogear, so... No mind, 3 salvations have been finished. So they are basically on par on the game under game right now. Well, never mind, one Scathers went down, so they are actually significantly ahead on the game under game with 3 salvations. Also decently spread out, allowing them to not be taken out in one volley. Well, not quite, as we can see right here. The entire aggregate did get taken out by that one volley after shields collapsed, but more shields being thrown up to try and save that salvation. However, I believe that the high energy cost of the salvation, of the reload of the salvation, is currently wrecking the power economy of Robogear. Yes. Every time salvation fires, the power just takes a complete nosedive. And that made shielding a lot more difficult for Robogear, with the shields popping off and thus not actually protecting against the Scathers fire. Though the second Scathers did go down and there are still 2 salvations. And there's also now a second Paragon going up. A bit late, but, well, whatever. And Robogear decides to has changed their mind and decides to rebuild the old Paragon. A reasonable call, as building on the rack of as rebuilding a unit on a rack of the same rebuilding a building, not really a unit. Units are, you can't really do that with units, but rebuilding a building. This time I might actually get the sentence right. On the rack of the same building, basically saves a lot of mass, or the mass that is still in the rack, the reclaimable mass, in the construction of the same unit. Maybe even a bit more, not sure, but basically it's always better to, if you have the option, rebuild on the stuff on some racks. Now the salvation right here, preventing exactly that with the old aggregate of Folly, or the main aggregate, taking out the reclaim by just dealing AoE damage. Also, I believe that the HQ actually did go down, which would be highly unfortunate, though there is a whole bunch of strat bombers now coming out to just provide firepower, to just snipe important stuff, probably the salvations. And something I completely missed is that Volley actually won air against Robogear. Now, in the south here, landfall has been made by Kotek. They dropped off some engineers to build a whole bunch of factories and are now just spamming out some T1RT. That is semi-effective, though there is no T2BD being used in mass to defend against that, and a experimental GC has been built up by Robogear. They are still building the other Paragon as well. I'm pretty sure that building 2 Paragons at the same time may not be the ideal play. I have to admit it. One more salvation did actually go down, not sure what to, but it did die. So only one salvation left, and the another Scathers has been thrown up, with some Seraphim shield generators now also coming up to help defend. The Sarah shield generators, of course, providing the highest HP pool of all shields at 21,000. Are there any UF shields around for comparison? Well, I believe they may have died in the space. Oh wait, this is UEF and that's only T2 shields, never mind. So I can't really check. But I believe that even the UEF shield has less HP. Even though the big total of the UEF does have a high HP pool. But the Scathers is firing again. Shields are now being thrown up around the position of the new Paragon. This one is still being built. And also RoboGear deciding to rebuild their air grid, where it got deleted by the Scathai. He built an experimental. Oh, HEC. Okay. They are still at 151 mass income. Still somewhat ludicrous, considering the fact that they technically do not have a base. But RoboGear is only at 112. Right, they still don't have their maxes are still in control of Saw. So they did not give the maxes back. Not too surprising, as the situation is, as they are rather busy dealing with the Navy. The former naval production of Lincoln has now been given over. I think it happened a bit ago, but whatever. And with that they are now actually able to push Delhi back. They are sitting at 537, Delhi is at 1.1k. Some pretty insane eco right there. All maxes double capped, and a whole bunch of Zakus. There was another nuke. I think I heard another nuke. Right, I think that may have come out from Kotick with these battleships. Yes, they have actually started building nukes in these battleships, and quite a few of them are actually loaded. Now you have a non-naval nuke, a proper nuke out from Delhi's nuke launcher. But yeah, I even pointed out earlier, these battleships can build nukes, and completely forgot about the fact that there were battleships capable of building nukes. Classic me. Now, saying that, there are also quite a few aces, all of which, well, all with the exception of one, are loaded out for volley. So UEF nuke subs. I suspect that they may have been gifted over from Greenwich. And those will probably be able to overwhelm most SMD. So this position can definitely be overwhelmed by all these nukes now. A nuke landed up here, taking out the 3 maxes. Okay. So deciding that the position is not safe and moving away. Just right into the middle of the pond. Also with insane amounts of T1 naval production now. In the meantime, the land invasion of Kotick is continuing to advance. Even more factories thrown up right here in the middle position that formerly belonged to Lincoln. And how are these Scathai looking? Okay, currently only 1 Scathers. Currently no second Scathers under construction again. The new Paragon is halfway done, though it is still taking its time, and apparently the mixes have actually been returned to RoboGear. This Paragon is now being reclaimed, providing some additional mass income. And the Salvation right here is still alive and still firing. Now, in the meantime, the position right here, right down here, is still actually alive, surprisingly, for VIP. Scaff is currently focusing down the Salvation, I believe. But shielding around the Scaff is probably sufficient that there won't be much damage. However, RoboGear may have realized that and is now going for the power production of Folly. And if they are able to take out the entire power production right here, that will most likely be sufficient. That could be enough to make these shields become unstable and start flickering, which could be enough to for the Salvation to break through. Now the requirement for that is that the Salvation actually lives long enough for that to go in effect. There are, however, now Sui starting to push up on that position. Sa decides to control K, probably due to Navy being crushed. There is a desync right here, though I have checked this replay, it's not really affecting how this game goes. I think it's pretty obvious now how this will end. This is a 2v4, there is now a massive amount of stress coming in. Going after the salvation for volley, and with the game ender being about to die, I think it's pretty obvious that this will not go how this will end, and the desyncing players are, well, it's not really the important amount. The stuff that desyncs is probably not that important right now. I think the replay is still worth I decided that the replay is still worth casting with all these game enders. So yeah. The salvation did go down and did get completely overkilled by all the strats. Some of them are still alive and are starting to retarget around the Paragon. But the base is now starting to collapse. The strats have damaged the shield significantly, and that provides the difficulty of the Scathers now having an easier time breaking through. And again, as I already pointed out, as soon as one shield, as the shields start collapsing against the Scathers, you basically lose your entire base. As you can see right here. A bunch of Psychos now also starting to tally in again from Kotek and Team VIP, so the Northern team has decided to recall. They have decided that they are not able to win this game. Fair enough. And thus, this game is over with the Southern team taking the win against the Northern team. I hope you enjoyed this replay. I, again, have missed quite a bit of stuff, but it was still somewhat entertaining. This was streamed live on Twitch. If you want to check that out, link to that will be in the description. Hope to see you again in a future cast, or maybe on Twitch, who knows, stream. And yeah, till then, bye!